What's up, folks? Welcome to Mate It So. My name is Ethan Lunn.
And I'm Mike. How are you doing?
And we are here today to discuss the latest episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Lift Us Where Suffering Cannot Reach. Sorry, it's a long title. I had to write it down.
Very TOS title. Very weird, I suppose, structure of it.
It's a good title. It's almost meaningless when you first read it. But then, obviously, as we learn throughout the episode, deeply meaningful.
What did you think of the episode in a non-spoiler category?
Non-spoilers, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. It was it's a very TOS-y title, but I thought it was a very TNG-ish episode. It's very much, to kind of, not without spoiling it, to talk about the themes. It's that kind of classic Star Trek conceit of a wonderful, perfect, idyllic world, but not all is as it seems. I'm a big fan of Twin Peaks, so
Yeah. Moral quandaries,
Oh yes, and of course the classic Star Trek moral quandary. Yeah, Star Trek is nothing if it isn't a series of morality tales, and this episode's a good one.
Yeah. I maybe didn't like it as much, if I'm honest. To me, this the worst out of the first six. I wasn't as much a fan of this one, really.
Wow, I don't know. Wow.
Yeah, and I think part of that is because I've seen something very much like it done better. So I know you've got episodes to talk, very similar episodes, but I think I've seen this done better on in a different franchise, almost beat for beat, let's say. In some cases.
I'll save the list of episodes that it's like, because I think it's a bit too spoilery. So I'll save it for actual spoilers. But I can't remember who I heard say it. I'll remember, but they've been saying that Star Trek Strange New Worlds is a great example of you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to know the fundamentals.
Yeah.
You just need to execute the fundamentals well enough. And I think that's what Star Trek Strange New Worlds does quite well. This episode's a great example of that. Classic, Star Trek conceit. What could it be? What aren't we being told?
Anything else for non-spoilers do you want to say?
I will say that this interesting bit of trivia. This episode is actually based on a unused script from the original series, which is kind of cool. Presumably a lot of the episodes that this episode is very reminiscent of are also probably based on that unused script.
Yeah.
Probably just picking the bones of it over a 50-year period.
Yeah, I know when TNG was first coming out, a lot of the unused TOS scripts were just shifted over, and Kirk was replaced with Riker, and they had to write Picard around it.
Well, it was more because a lot of TNG was unused Phase 2 script ideas. So Riker is in place of
Decker.
Will Deckard, and Deanna is in place of Ilya.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And of course, as we mentioned a few episodes ago, Data is in place of Zon, the Vulcan that never was.
Yeah. And I always think for first season of TNG, you can almost match up 18 of the 20, I think it's 25 episodes in the first season, are exactly the same as TOS episodes, or have the exact same structure of them, with the obvious ones being naked now, naked then. Yeah.
Yeah. Naked now, naked then. Yep.
Yeah.
Naked up, naked down.
Yeah. A find and replace script.
Should we go into spoilers?
Let's talk spoilers. Let's talk spoilers.
Spoilers. I'll give my list of episodes. If
Yeah.
you liked the TNG episodes, Half-Life, Justice, and Symbiosis, you'll love this episode. If you like the Stargate SG-1 episode, Learning Curve, you'll love this fucking episode.
Yeah.
If you like the movies, Midsummer, and The Wicker Man, and The Wicker Man starring Nicolas Cage, you will also like this movie. And also, if you like the TOS episode, The Cloud Miners, you'll fucking love this episode because it is that.
Yeah. Yeah, so the one I was hinting at pre-spoilers was Learning Curve, Stargate. It's very, very similar to that. Although I think it has a better point around it. A slightly less Star Trek point around it, but it has a better point around it.
Yeah, I'm struggling to remember a lot of elements of it. I just know it was one of those episodes where, like, Jack makes friends with a kid, and then he remembers his dead kid, and then he, like, projects his, trauma onto that child.
So it's one where
which is a common thing to happen in Stargate SG-1. Like,
yeah, it's one where you're on an idyllic planet, of course, and it is don't teach these grown-ups how to do stuff, how to use a Nakwita reactor or whatever. Teach this 12-year-old girl. And I'm like, okay, you're a really smart 12-year-old girl. I suppose I'll teach you. And the 12-year-old learns it, and then they pretty much chop out the killer to collect nanites from her to teach everyone else. So I'm like, yeah, it's that episode.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. I think we may as well just kind of like quickly go through the plot because I think it's going to be quite difficult to discuss this episode. Going through the episode without talking about the twist at the end.
Yeah.
So, like, do you wanna do it? Do you wanna go? Or do you wanna?
So, a quick run through of the plot, and then we can always punch back to individual scenes we like. Distress call was picked up. It is a shuttle in trouble. It is a shuttle with Alora, a previous potential meet-up girlfriend of Pike's, but nothing ever happened in the past. She's transporting a young child and his father. And the young child is special. He's smart. He is...
the golden child.
He's a golden child.
Starring Eddie Murphy.
Yes, he is Eddie Murphy.
He's the
weirdly
child.
Enough.
He's the child.
Yeah.
No, Pike's Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, okay, Pike's Eddie Murphy. But they've got to get that people were trying to kidnap this child, and Pike volunteers the Enterprise pretty much, or himself at least, to protect the child, get it back to his home planet, which is ideal, or
it's
idyllic.
A paradise. It's
a paradise planet.
It's a classic Star Trek planet of the beautiful. Where everything is wonderful.
Hovering above lava. I wonder if that's thematic. And, we try and find out who the kidnappers were. It turns out that it was people in his, guard, because he's such a special lad, he's got a guard. And, it's a case of finding out why the person was trying to kidnap him. It's a case of finding out why the child is special, and it is pretty much he gets hooked up to a computer for a reason they don't know why, but they've been told if they don't hook a child up to this computer, their cloud city will fall into the lava below.
Yeah. So the paradise, when the veil is lifted on paradise, it turns out that their entire paradise is built on a pile of dead children, who have
Yep.
been, there's been a succession of Dalai Lama brainchilds who have all been hooked up to this machine. Um, you know, and that's obviously like that happens at the end of the episode. We don't find out, but I don't think that we can really talk about this episode.
Without,
I don't think we can.
we're in
go
spoilers,
through,
so
it's just gonna be too difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like basically, fucking, like when did you figure it out? Like, because that's the thing. Early on in the episode, they say his ascension. They talk
Yeah, the
about
second
this
ascension was said. I was
the ascension. Like he is, what is his title? The great
first servant, I believe.
first servant. And it's they talk about the first servant ascending. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
what's he ascending to? And then throughout the episode, we are kind of it's never alluded. It's never actually discussed what happens when he ascends. When we do find out.
Yeah, I think they could have, someone on that ship should probably be asking, why are you so special, child? Are you going to be turning into a ruler, or are you going to be hooked up to a computer?
Yeah, and the kid's like, oh, I'm going to be hooked up to a computer. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
I've trained my whole life for this. So yeah, it's a classic Star Trek conceit done for the modern day. I think that there's a lot of metaphor throughout this episode that I haven't. I've seen a few people. I've spoken to a few people. I've seen a couple of reviews of this episode. So far, no one has picked up on something that I've picked up on. But I think that's because a lot of the people whose reviews I've read and who I've seen are American. And I think that the metaphors for this episode very much hold a mirror up to America. And sometimes the people of the United States can have a bit of difficulty grasping when that is happening.
What, letting children die so you can keep on living your life as you want to?
Yeah. Exactly that.
Yeah. The Dalai Lama one, you said before, I hadn't jumped on that, but that's on there as well, because
there's a lot of religious allegory in all of this as well. Like, it's I've got some notes and we'll talk about the thing, but like this society that we are introduced to, the Magellans, the Magellians, the Magellibeans.
The Magellans, but the planet isn't Magella or Magellan. It is like Magellan or something like that.
Majel Barrett Roddenberry's. The Magellibeans. They're a scientifically superior people, and so and a lot of the language that they're using, it's all kind of science based and like political based. So like they're not presented as having like a spirituality. But by the end of the episode, you kind of see that doctrine isn't always. Doctrine doesn't always have to be religious in nature. I use some stronger language when we get onto it, but yeah.
The maxim which they're supposed to be following, or the kid, because I'm not going to call him first servant all the time, sorry. The kid is supposed to embody is science, service, and sacrifice. So you lead off by science at least, so they're at least technology based and technology focused and better than the feds. Better than the Federation.
Yeah, I thought when you said the feds, I thought you meant like the federales, like the 5-0.
Blue light, red light. Yeah.
Yeah, mate. Fucking tell me about it. But yeah, so like that's the kind of twist at the end. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Yeah. They're gonna kill this. They want to sacrifice this fucking child. They want to throw him down a fucking volcano to the god of science.
who's a good kid actor, I think.
Great kid actor.
Relative, yeah.
Yeah. But should we take a couple of
Let's
steps back and
rewind.
go through? Let's rewind. Also, like, I feel like another reason why maybe I probably should have said it before we did it as well. Trigger warning. Like,
yeah.
Trigger warning. There's going to be some fucking child sacrifice in this bitch.
Yeah. And, you see some of that. So if you don't want to see some of that, maybe turn off before the last 5 minutes.
Woo! Ugh. Right, Act 1.
So let's... Act 1, we've got Uhura who, so far we've seen her on comms, we've seen her on weapons, or where else have we seen it? On the ambassador track, in engineering, and this week she's in security. So her and Pike are having a little chat in the turbo lift, and joking around, saying she's being taught lessons by La'an, and Pike's checking in to check if she's okay, which is always nice. We like a captain who cares about his crew.
And Pike, one thing we know about Pike is a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. And he's saying, watch out for lesson whatever, because La'an teaches in lessons.
Yes. He does a nice little the Rigelian tiger.
Yeah.
The Rigelian tiger doesn't pounce, matron.
Yeah, it's always nice, I think, having a it's not a simile, whatever it is, that is a future based one. It's not always like, oh, the tiger is in the grass. It's like, oh no, there's a Rigelian tiger. There's something like that.
The littlest dog always has the most to prove.
Yeah, you have 2 Rigelian wolves in you.
yes, you have 2 Rigelian Spocks in you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, like, before the episode actually started, we got a really good previously on Star Trek. But, like, usually when we get those on Star Trek, it's a 2-parter.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I always like a previously on Star Trek.
See, I can't say I ever watch a previously on, because I think unless I forget something, it's going to spoil the episode. Or I'm always scared that it'll spoil the episode by being, oh, previously on, how I was going to die. Oh no, I'm going to die in this episode. Or, you haven't seen this character in several weeks. Oh, here's this character again.
Yeah. You haven't seen this character in several weeks, and then they show up at the very end of the episode.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
But in the previously on, we get Pike, Uhura, and Mbenga, which, had me anticipating who's gonna get the log.
Yeah. But it is a Pike log this week. And it's a Pike episode, but it's kind of a two-hander between Pike and Mbenga, isn't it, really?
Yeah, lightly peppered with Uhura.
Yeah. And a lot of the cast this week, like no Hemmer.
No.
Seems to be keeping himself way out
of...
Yeah,
we've had 3 weeks of no Hemmer. Is it 3 weeks? 2 weeks? We've had many no Hemmer.
Yeah. He's only had 1 episode that he's done much in, and that was the Uhura gets trapped episode. I suppose he tried to beam on the core of the planet once.
He's probably been in
Hemmer.
a fridge since then. He's been in one of those little boxes with the snowflake on it.
Yeah. But we've got a distress call from a non-Federation shuttle that's being attacked. And the ship that it's attacking it is, tiny compared to Enterprise. There's no chance of it being any sort of hassle there. But it's got the grapple cables. It's got the Enterprise NX grapple cables on the shuttle, and is pulling it in.
Yeah, it's slapdash cobbled together, you we find out, later in the episode that they are, there's a reason why they have they seem to have pretty shit technology, but they do seem to be doing all right with it.
Yeah, yeah. So they obviously don't have, although the main people that we meet in this episode, the Magellians, are technologically advanced. These guys are still using, tow cables like they're trying to take down an AT-AT or something like that. They're living in a different universe or 100 years behind. But we get Uhura on weapons.
Yeah, I liked Uhura on weapons. I liked La'an stood over Uhura's shoulder. Again, reminded me of a chef. Just stood there like watching someone do something.
Yeah.
And like any minute now, she's gonna lean over with a little spoon and see how it's doing.
Yeah, and we, I know we get on the job training with Crusher Wesley, but no one's really standing over him. They kind of trust him to do stuff. So it's good that we're seeing some more on the job training, because these guys have got to get trained up at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But Pike also has a good bit in this where he's, I'm interfering, I've had a distress call and it's Federation law and my own conscience that I'm going to intervene.
Yeah. Again, Pike's such a good guy.
Yeah.
And he's saying like I have to because it's my duty, but also like I'm gonna because they seem in distress and you present as the bad guy in this situation, so just give up.
None of that. Yeah. So he asks Uhura to just take out their weapons, I believe it is, or their engines, or part of the ship, and the ship moves as Uhura's firing, and whoop.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. This is why you need on-the-job training, clearly.
Yeah, she just fucking killed those big shots. Whoops, my finger slipped and killed those motherfuckers.
Well, I don't think they die. Because at least one of them comes back later in the episode. It's never explained how he gets from that shuttle.
Yep,
back home.
do. There are a couple of instances in this episode of some pretty slick transporting. So,
yeah.
Maybe.
But that planet, the aggressing ship crashes on a planet that's next door, and the shuttle is so beaten up that they transport anyone who's surviving, which is Alora, Pike's old flame, that nothing ever happened with.
Great moment. It she beams on, and it's just like, at last.
Yeah.
My love has come along.
Oh. He turns into a real goof.
Oh, man. It's just like...
Can't remember Una's name and stuff like that.
I'm like the captain or whatever, but it's no big deal or anything. But I guess it's that's why I'm wearing gold.
Yeah. So she remembers him as a lieutenant, and I'm guessing if he wasn't in gold, I suppose you can always say it was in the disco style uniforms.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why she says it's very yellow.
Yeah, but first watching of it and only thinking about it now, I thought, well, he could have been on the lieutenant track in red or something like that.
Maybe.
I'm guessing chronologically now.
Which uniform rules are you working with?
Am I working with Memory Alpha? Everything works, honestly, as long as you. But then again, in the cage he was in yellow. So
in the cage he was in yellow, but he was a captain.
He was still a captain, so it must have been pre-cage.
But if he was a lieutenant at about the time, wait, I reckon he was probably in the Kelvin uniforms with the at the start in the opening scene of 09. It'll have been in that.
No. Don't hurt my head. Yeah. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. But she had shuttle trouble 10 years prior. He helped her out when he was a lieutenant, and he's saved her from another shuttle. And she's brought across the first servant, a child, maybe 10 years old. I can't judge kids' ages.
Yeah.
10, 12, something like that.
He's a boy.
And
He's a little boy.
Little boy. And his father.
Strictly in a biological sense.
Strictly in a biological sense.
What the fuck does that mean? Like,
which is the first time Una and Pike are like,
what?
What's
Just like, strictly in a biological sense, I don't like him. He's not like my mate.
Mm.
But yeah.
I wonder if that means he just didn't rear him. Well, no, he. It's his biological material, but he didn't. Teach him or whatever. He wasn't living there or whatever. Yeah, it's all weird. It's all weird.
Yeah.
Did you like Una's hairstyle? It is Yeoman Rand's hairstyle.
Of course
really.
I did.
Yeah, of course.
Rebecca Romaine is a fucking angel. She's what can I say? She's a Bruce Timm drawing come to life. I love her. Oh god. Like I constantly think about her throwing Hemmer over her shoulder, just strutting down the hallways. Like she can throw me over her shoulder. She can fucking throw me in a cupboard.
Yeah, that's where Hemmer is. He's thinking about
it's like he's in a cupboard somewhere, just going, "That was great."
Yeah. What else can I do to be thrown over the shoulder again? Yeah. But we take the kid, because I can't remember. Can't be bothered calling him first servant continuously. And
the Golden Child.
Dad, yeah.
The Golden Child, starring Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. We take them to sickbay to get checked out because the kid whacked his head or something like that. And we start getting bits of the kid is incredibly smart. He's examining the medical equipment and saying, it's a bit primitive and all that.
Yeah, lots of vagaries. The kid is special. The kid must ascend. And we're treated to we see how clever the kid is, and we find out that like the kid, when they get to sickbay, the kid is in the process of like essentially regenerating. Like the kid's body is healing itself, and he's full of little quantum fucking doohickeys. He's got like fucking nanobots.
Yeah, quantum bio implants.
Yeah.
To rebuild the biological functions. So way advance of Fed technology. So Mbenga immediately goes, bing, I've got a sick child. And before we even get to here, Mbenga's still reading that terrible book to his child, The Kia Seed.
Yeah, that's sorry, that you just deciphered a note that made me go, what?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So, yeah. But the kid in this note I'm referencing isn't the Golden Child starring Eddie Murphy, it's Mbenga's daughter.
I've only remembered her because I think her name is Kia, like the car. And then when they're playing later, it's Kia Sport. So that's the only way I'm remembering her.
So yeah, pardon me. Mbenga's daughter doesn't seem very aware of what's going on. Like he's told her that she's sick and that she needs to be kept in the pattern buffer. She does not know how long she has been in the pattern buffer. And we don't know how long she's been in the pattern buffer.
Mbenga could be, 40s for all we know. And had this kid when he was 18. This could be like the oldest, Yeah,
that kid could have been in there potentially literally 4 decades. And
as I said, the episode where we meet her, that's an existential horror where she is being awoken pretty much, or never sleeps, and all she gets is this same book read to her.
Well,
And
as not even that. It's not even like because she doesn't seem to be like because when she gets beamed up, she doesn't know that she's about to, like he says that the transporter is on a timer so that it's not disruptive to her, and she's like, well, how long is it until it goes off? And she gets beamed up. So as far as she's aware, she is currently just being sat down and read a book. So she just has to sit there and be read to.
And she says in this one, "Oh, you read that chapter to me last time."
Yeah, you read that.
Yeah,
you literally
that's
just
existential
read that
horror.
chapter. You just read that chapter.
It's like Black Mirror, the Christmas episode, the John Hamm one.
Oh yes, where she's awake constantly for 1,000 years.
And constantly reliving the same day, pretty much. Yeah, terrible. So Umbenga's brain spikes up and goes, maybe I can use this quantum bio implants to heal the Kia seed I've got trapped in my transporter buffer.
Yeah.
But the Magellans are like the Federation in that they don't really share technology with, races below them. Because they're cruel in medical technology.
With Federation, yeah, exactly. Like with the Federation, it's in the guise of we shouldn't interfere, but the Magellans, they don't seem to be the exploration type. So presumably, their contact with other species is them, meeting. So why wouldn't they be exchanging their ideas? They seem.
Well, I think it's for the twist of the episode in that they're secretive, because they don't want to tell everyone that they've still got a moral centre. They still know it's not great hooking a child up to be drained of his juices.
Yeah, they're just not going to do anything about it.
Yeah. They're happy enough as long as they can, live in their cloud city.
But yeah, so the kid, we have that. Then we have the kid. Then we find out about the fucking space Dalai Lama and how he's all special and he's got nanobots and shit. Then what happens?
So we go down to there still might be people survived from the aggressor's cruiser.
Yeah.
So Spock says for them to go down. La'an and Uhura leading in. Allura wants to go as well. Allura tries to talk Pike out of interfering pretty much, just dropping them off home and leaving it. But Pike says, they shot at us as well. I have to, I have to do it. It's Federation stuff.
I have to do that. I'm trying to impress you.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm just like, I'm not thinking about the twist regarding the kid. I'm more thinking this is a honeypot. They're gonna sacrifice. I'm thinking they're gonna sacrifice you, Pike. They're gonna fucking oh man, she's a spy, or you're gonna get sacrificed, or some bullshit. But yeah, man.
She's definitely doing all the, fluttering eyelashes.
Oh, yeah, man. It was it reminded me a lot. I thought, it would have been a great stylistic choice to, just rub a bit of Vaseline on the camera lens like they did in TOS in all those great scenes. Where everything's all misty and she's and she's
at least first seeing
beautiful.
her.
She's very elegant. She's very charming. Big chemistry between those two. Yeah, really like that. Although fucking Anson Mount probably has chemistry with it, anyone who walks into a room with him.
Oh yeah, oh definitely. He's friendly but not flirty, but still has chemistry with Uhura. It's friendly chemistry. It's not flirty chemistry. But
yeah,
it's,
which is It was so funny seeing him get all bashful.
Yeah, yeah. He's normally in command of his ship and his own self, and he's just not in front of Allura. But we go down to the ship. Uhura's ready to click on consoles, and Lan's like, you idiot, use your tricorder. This could have been scuttled because Klingons do that.
Yeah, man, it could be a bomb. At that point, I'm thinking like, is it just those two they've sent down? I was
Yeah.
thinking like, oh, do you want to Lan? Do you want to take a security team? And Lan's just like, no, I'll just take this fucking turkey. I reckon.
Yeah. I'll take the work experience girl.
Yeah, be right. Piece
Yeah.
of cake. But no, they did take a team down.
Yeah. So they take people down, they pick up a mask, and they pick up an oath coin, which Allura lets them know this is, these are supposed to be given to the bodyguards of the special kid. So it's been defaced, which probably means one of them has gone bad.
Nah, it's Two-Face.
Yeah.
One side is defaced, it's Two-Face.
He's constantly flipping it, and
Oh, man.
should I betray them? Yes, no.
Should have betrayed them, yeah, man. Like, I guess maybe that's why they were after the kid. He flipped the coin. He flipped the coin, it came up scarred. He's like, right, let's kill that child.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, Laan, right?
Mm-hmm.
How old is Laan? How old is Laan supposed to be? Because...
We must be able to know, because we've seen records of that Gorn attack.
Right, she's obviously had a lot of trauma. She's a tough broad. She's bolshy. She's willful. She's also a dick.
Yeah.
Like, she's also quite rude.
Standoffish.
She's like,
Yeah.
what you doing? What you doing touching stuff? We've been hanging around with fucking Samuel Kirk too much. What you do? You just go up and touch stuff? Scan it.
And if Uhura didn't know that before she got there, then maybe you should say on the outside.
One sec. I've written down some of the lessons, but I've only like half written them down. So it's like, so we've got a Rigelian tiger. There are two Rigelian tigers in all of you. Then there's something about no breaks. There are,
Yeah, it's there's security never rests.
Threats to security never rest. So security never rests. And then, no touching.
Yeah.
She's we find out what lesson 7 is later on in the episode. I've written down a couple of other lessons. So we've got lesson 1, the Rigelian tiger never waits to strike. Lesson 2, threats to security are always hanging around. Lesson 3, no touching. Lesson 4, no shirt, no shoes, no service. Lesson 5, sometimes it's just two kids in a long trench coat. I haven't come up with a lesson 6 yet, so...
Lesson 6, don't trust Samuel Kirk
Don't
to do
trust
anything
Samuel
reliably.
Kirk. Yes, that's good, yes. I'll write that down. How would you word that? Do not do as Samuel Kirk does.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, in the first episode, well, in the main episode that we have Sam Kirk, he touches stuff and he gets a heal that almost kills him. So, no touching. Good lesson.
Oh my god, maybe all of these lessons are just like observations that Lan has made about fucking Sam Kirk.
Yeah.
Like,
She had one lesson to begin with and then had Sam Kirk under her wing.
Yeah, she had
And
Sam
now it's
Kirk
like-
for the week.
Yeah. Lesson 504.
Yeah.
Don't take mustache grooming too seriously.
Yeah, lesson 300. Do not touch Samuel Kirk's mustache wax.
Yeah, so we get Allura says to Pike, oh, we're a very insular people, and we only need dropping off. And Pike's wanting to investigate and also spend a bit more time with Allura, obviously.
She's got a thing to get to. She's got to get to. She's got
Yeah.
to get. She's got to get to the ball. She's got to get to the Ascension. She's got to get to the Wicker Man party.
Yeah.
Like there was an interesting use of words in that sequence where Allura talks about how to the people of Majel Barrett, the peaceful transition of power is very important, and I thought that was a very interesting choice of words. Especially after already having a clip of the January 6th insurrection,
Yeah.
and considering the themes that come up through the rest of the episode, like is the peaceful transition of power important to you, or is the maintaining of status quo what's really important to you?
Yeah.
I just thought that's interesting choice of words there, guys.
But Pike convinces her because there might be others in the military that are supposed to be looking after this kid, and he says, you can't take foreigners or whatever, but our friends welcome. So he's gonna buddy along with her.
He's a
See
plus
what's
one.
up. Yeah, +1 to child murder, as you do.
Nice planet.
It's a very nice planet. So you see an establishing shot, and there is lava underneath this cloud city, which they talk of later. So it's floating above this very precarious underbelly, literally and metaphorically.
That like those establishing shots, it reminded me of the ending of Return of the Jedi, the Blu-ray, where it pans over Naboo, and there's the music playing, there's bongos playing, and there's the same thing in this episode. There's bongos playing, panning over. It looks like Naboo. I was like, oh shit, the Empire just got destroyed. Nice.
Yeah. Lovely idyllic planet. But we jump back to Spock, and he goes to see the dad of the Special One, and saying, this mask is a dampener, and it's fit for a child. Yep. And I only know about one child around here.
Yeah.
That child.
What do you reckon?
Yeah. And that's
nah.
Never seen this before in my life.
I mean, do you reckon that's a child size? I mean, like, he's probably like, it looks like a cup. It looks like a jock strap. It looks like a jock.
It does a bit, yeah.
So you're sure it's not just a jock?
But we find out how clever the kid is again, and we set up something later on because the kid wants to have a pen pal and is talking about subspace communications and how he's got his own frequency and, just chatting nerd stuff to Spock, really, about comms.
Yeah. And Spock's charmed by the kid, He's like, a young,
kid.
I haven't met a kid that was this into radios since a certain little Vulcan kid growing up on Vulcan.
Yeah.
Probably sees a bit of himself in him.
Certainly. But yeah, we're back on Magellan, and Pike's walking, or Allura's walking down the line of royal guards or whatever they are, and saying, present your coins, present your pogs to me.
Yes,
and
show
I will
me the
judge your
pogs. Show me the pogs. What you got? Got it. Need it. Swap you.
Yeah. Oh, your pog holder is scratched up.
Same. Same.
Yeah. And the guy, just flees off, and he's unstoppable by a royal guard.
Mate, he fucking straight up vaporizes one of his mates.
Yeah.
Like full on, like. Like it was a good effect. I loved that vaporizing effect. It was kind of liquidy, but then like particle-y. Like
splashed out.
Yeah, it splashed and then so it wasn't wet. It was wet at first. I like it when someone explodes. I like it when it's wet.
It's a shame Pike didn't get some on him, really. Just like goo.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been great. Ugh.
But this guy who's managed to outwit or kill half the royal guard gets tackled by Pike, just rugby tackling him, running straight onto him.
Yeah, he runs into a nice garden with some of the naffest hedges I have seen in a while. Like, I'm sorry, that garden was in general quite lovely, but I've done a bit of landscape gardening. My parents also obsessed with gardening. Should maybe get fucking obsessed with fucking marriage counselling. But like, no, we don't need it. We'll just garden. Some of the worst hedges I have ever seen in my life. Like they were fucking all over the place.
There's something that's not idyllic about this planet.
Yes, there. Finally, the one thing that's wrong about this planet is shitty landscaping.
Yeah. If only they could solve. They've got on a to-do list to fix, and it's the landscaping and then child murder. Second place, child murder.
Well, I think like the child murder is at the top of the list, and that's why they've not done the fucking landscaping, because they're just like standing around going, I mean, what if we move? No, can't move without. Who's gonna buy the place with the hedges like this? Again, they're running around in that garden. No fucking railings.
No.
At one point the guy turns the dodgiest fucking corner where like if he'd have leant too much and slipped.
And it was on grass. That gets a bit wet and you're over,
Mate, no railings whatsoever. And not even like a line. Like not even like a thing like at the edge of a train platform. Just like grass.
Yeah.
Fucking
terrible.
The worst kind of people. I did see another as well as the entire plot of the episode. There was another little Stargate, I'm taking it as a nod to Stargate SG-1. The fucking the staff.
Yeah.
The vaporizing staff weapon, which I looked up the name of. It's called a Martok staff. I'm like, Martok?
Yeah.
Martok, that's the name of a Star Trek.
That's the name of one of our things.
That's the name of a Star Trek thing. Martok is one of my favorite Star Trek.
Yeah. But yeah, ends up with him taking Alora, captive using it as a human shield while Pike's holding a phaser, and Alora turns it round and just stabs him in the heart, and boom. This meek flower of a woman.
Yeah, she's well. I mean, like presumably, I don't know. I thought that something was going to come up about like their last meeting, but it was just a supernova, wasn't it? There wasn't any like bandits.
Yeah,
were there bandits?
No, it was just a supernova. He
so
saved her from, I believe.
She didn't get like inspired to learn self-defense to use Aikido on a supernova.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to work.
This is 100% as well. When you were saying about how early in the episode did you peg the twist? This is where I was like,
same.
Yep. Even if whatever, something bad's going to happen to the child, maybe she doesn't know, and then she stabbed the guy through the heart, and I was like, she knows. She knows.
That's what's going on. The kid's getting sacrificed because the guard, as he dies, he says, "The first servant must live."
Yeah.
So immediately I'm like, kid's getting sacrificed.
He's taken his oath and said, I need to protect this child. And then suddenly, whoops, I've took it a bit too strong, and maybe I don't want to kill this kid.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, that's the thing. He's a delightful kid. He is. Like, I'm surprised that there isn't more people in the fucking palace, like, who want to protect the kid. Like, he's a charming little lad.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, where do we jump to? I believe we jump to George Kirk going up to Uhura. He's back. Oh boy, he's back.
Yeah, man, Uhura just fucking horsing down them fucking noodles, and then Sam Kirk's like, remember to chew, cadet, because one time I didn't chew and I choked and I died.
Lesson 15.
Yeah,
Lesson
lesson
whatever.
15. Remember to
Yeah.
chew.
Yeah. I know. La'an comes and says, George Kirk is saying something like, "Oh no, you need to tell La'an you need an actual break." And La'an comes up behind him and goes like, "I need to leave. I'm risk averse, or I'm conflict averse.
Get
I'm
the
going."
fuck away from you.
Yeah. But La'an's taken the the recorders off the crash ship, and is wanting Uhura to translate the material in them to find out what's actually about them.
Why? I don't understand why that needed doing.
No.
Unless she was just kind of throwing Uhura a bone. Like, you know, here's a teaching moment. I could run it, you know. She says something about, like, Federation protocol won't let us decode this shit, but, like, you can do it by hand somehow or something.
Yeah.
But, like that just feels like bullshit. I'm guessing she was just throwing her a bone. I'm just saying, like...
Well, Uhura's the one that brings up it's not, you know, Federation rule or whatever wouldn't let them do it. So maybe because the Magellans have said, you know, please don't touch our stuff, they're supposed to be just holding it in a lab. And La'an's gone on, yanked it and gone, Uhura, I can't run through this through the computer because there's a chain of evidence or whatever now that I've spoiled. But you can do stuff for me.
I ripped out all these hard drives and I threw them in this tub.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I feel like this might be the first time I've seen a tub in Star Trek.
A tub.
Just like a tub. Like, just brings it out in a little tub. Like,
yeah.
People have tubs in Star Trek. Like, I mean, it's the first time I've seen a little carry tub.
Yeah. Very strange.
I don't know why it stood out to me. Like, the only other tub I can think of is when Benny is clearing out his office in Far Beyond the Stars.
Yeah. I'm just imagining, you know, empties out the hard drive and just scoops up the spaghetti bolognese or whatever it is. And be like, yep, that's my spaghetti bolognese in this tub now. We'll take it with us.
Yeah, sound.
Yeah. Then back on Magellan, Alora invites Pike back to her room, and you know it's Strange New Worlds because it's TOS. They get their fuck on, you know.
I'm like, don't do it, Chris. Don't do it. It's a honeypot. Fuck it. Go on, do it. Go on.
Yeah.
Oh man, like that, like, and it does it in the classy way, you know. It does the smooch, and then
Shift
it cuts,
to the side.
and then cuts to
Yeah.
you know,
Cuts back and now they're shirtless.
Cuts to a train going into a tunnel, and then it cuts back to Pike, in like, and like the way that they've got them like posed, like Pike looking very vulnerable. She's like holding him. And like, I know how that feels. You know, my partner is I like strong women. I like willful women. Also like physically strong women. And my partner, she little spoons me quite well, and I'm not ashamed. I'm very depressed. Sometimes I need to be cuddled.
Oh, of course, we
so,
all do.
And like, you know, I'm seeing my mate Chris. I'm seeing my mate Chris.
Yeah.
And he's there. He's being held.
And he's emotionally vulnerable with her as well, because he describes, having the vision and seeing his future. And this is where she's like saying, well, we've got some shit hot technology. If you get injured in some way, I can just rebuild you. We can make him better, $6 million manu, sort of stuff.
And like, that's the thing. At this point in this scene, that's when I kind of realize she's not a honeypot. Like, she's being genuine. She is, she has genuine feelings for Chris. Or she is clearly, she believes herself to be righteous. and yeah, she's being completely genuine.
And it leans into as well at the end of the first episode, I believe it was, where Pike is talking to Una about his fate, and it's like, is there nothing else you could do? And he's just presented with this option of, maybe you do get melted because you've resigned yourself to you melting yourself to save those kids. But maybe after you get melted, you could just spring up, happy as Larry again and be skipping around.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice?
You just imagine yourself, getting up out of your box, walking over to the window, looking at the lava rivers.
Yeah.
And then maybe I bring over a cup of coffee.
Saying something other than beep. How nice that would be.
Oh god, they should definitely do that in like a nightmare sequence where like someone turns and they're like, Chris, what's going on? And he just turns around and he goes to talk and he just
Beep.
Are you okay, Chris? Beep, beep, beep.
Just beeping mad. Or, he should start teaching himself really now Morse code. He should be like, if I only get to beep, how about instead of just yes/no questions, I can also, be like, hungry. I could present that or whatever to the doctors around me.
Maybe it's a preference. Maybe he's like, I've heard it say that people who have accidents and they lose limbs, sometimes it can result in a period of them being unpleasant. So maybe he's just like, do you know what? Yes or no question. That's all I want. I don't want to talk to you. But you can do the Morse code on the thing. Well, I'm not gonna.
No. I need very simple, direct questions only.
So that
I've been personable all my life.
Yeah, I've been a super nice guy all my life. Now I'm a head on a box. Yeah.
You can at least give me yes/no questions.
I like when she said, like, they're talking about the First Minister and like his calling in life. How rare it is for someone to know their future. And Pike's just like, yeah, totally.
Yeah. I've got a calling.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, saving 6 kids. Who could all turn out to be Hitler for all he knows.
Yeah.
6 little Hitlers, for one me.
Tell you what though, Chris Pike's fucking arms. Jesus Christ.
Really? I didn't notice. I don't know.
I've seen his chest. Before. So I know what that looked like. I was quite surprised at how big his arms are. He's got a big set of fucking guns on him.
Good work, Anson.
Deceptive, like fucking Danny Elfman. Takes that shirt off and Jesus Christ, carved from marble. Right.
Then we get a scene that is pretty much for nothing. That is the Kia sports scene. Kia and the kid, so Mbenga's kid and the first servant, are playing hopscotch with noble gases. He's made a noble gas hopscotch course because, again, he's smart.
Yeah, it's cute.
And he's so smart that overhearing that there was a sick person with whatever disease Kia has, he was like, "There's none of these on board. Where would I hide them?
There's none of these on board. I knew that because I hacked into the files."
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that bit of Sherlock Holmes, bit of Holmesian reasoning,
Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't come back at all. I don't think that much. But Pike beams back, learns that the kidnappers were originally from Prospect 7, so a barren or an almost barren planet that was a colony planet of Magellan.
Yeah. I liked it when he gets called back. He's just kind of like, did you have to call me back? Yeah. I was in a very important booty call. I mean, work call. I was in a meeting.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he there's a few times in this episode where like Pike, like they have the communicators, but they don't use them in this episode.
Well, I suppose you don't want to communicate and someone could be hearing, since communicators seemingly only have a
yes, if they only have
speaker
loudspeaker
mode.
function.
Yeah. Someone should fix that, you know. Straight after we're hearing this, the kid and the dad try to leave. They march their way down to the transporter room, and Kyle is there being like, "No, I'm not going to transport you."
Yeah, they're just here like, we're leaving. We've already called a taxi. Our taxi's here. Wait a minute, that's not a taxi. That's a pirate ship.
And they get beamed from the transporter pad by the evil combat cruiser.
Of this Magellan breakaway society. Who
and Pike's immediately like, put a tractor beam on them. This is fine. Yeah. We've got a better ship than they have.
That's the thing at this point. Like, this where while like I was saying before, like the Magellans are technologically advanced, and these people are from some kind of like breakaway society because they disagree with all of it, with the sacrificing the kids, with the fucked up landscape gardening, no railings. These guys have left, and so they've got these like kind of piece of ships that they've obviously like cobbled together, but they're kind of doing all right with, they managed to get that other ship. They managed to get, obviously there was a bit of something going on, bit of funny business going on, but like they managed to sneak within transporter range of the Enterprise with a spaceship presumably made out of like a fucking rubbish truck taped to a kitchen. Like they seem to be making good use of very little, which is I can respect that.
Good trait.
Yeah, good trait to have.
Yeah. But they steal the kid and the father. They beam the father back to the Enterprise and say, it looks like they're taking off with the child, trying to go to warp even though they're in a tractor beam. And that is a bad idea to do. So ship go boom.
Yeah. Good job, guys. 2 whoopsies in 1 day. Or 2 days. Holy shit. Literally just like the fucking ship explodes. It just cuts to like a guy with the sign saying like, days since accident. 1 day since accident. And he just takes it off.
Yeah. Back to zero. Back to zero. And where are we then? Allura is explaining to Pike, everyone's distraught, and Pike's trying to say, we're so sorry for you and your people's loss. She's saying, it's much worse than you think. The Cloud City's going to fall into the lava. Cats and dogs will live together.
What?
It's, anarchy down here.
What? Is fucking Cthulhu going to come out of the lava? Calm down.
Yeah. Might as well.
Pike's like, how did this happen? How did this happen? What happened? And I'm screaming at the TV, there's a spy!
Yeah.
There's
only one of them on the ship,
There's 3 people that have been on your ship. One of them is a spy. What, you were shagging one of them, the other one is adorable little boy. Someone, the dad.
Yeah, the only one that's still on the ship. But yeah, it was the dad, and we learned that he uploaded the biopatterns of him and the kid so they could be transported off quickly.
Yep. Yep. Fucking Spock calls Pike like that. They're having a meeting with the dad, who's not a spy.
Not a spy, clearly.
And the fucking Spock says, Captain, you need to come down here. So Pike goes down and he's like, what did you want?
Yeah.
They're making him go all over the place.
Yeah.
They make him
he's
beam
everywhere
up,
this
beam
week.
up from the planet. Go down to the bridge. Go down to the dad. Go down and meet Spock. Pike needs a fucking Segway.
Yeah. Or at least to site, in some of these.
No, just give him a little Segway. Little thing. He can just be running around like Joe Bluth.
Like Poor Blot Mall Cop. Something like that.
Yeah, man. We could get some really good, like, West Wing style scenes where, like, they do a walk and talk, but he's on a Segway, and they're all, like, getting, like, a bit of a jog going.
Yeah.
That'd be good. That'd be a good Star Trek.
Yeah, it'd be good.
They should do that.
But where are we? Spock's got a distress signal from the kid, who is, just in a crate on the Enterprise, the lower decks. Mm-hmm. We're following the setup of, the kid is talking to Spock about communication and had his own, frequency or whatever. So fine. They managed to return the kid, who obviously wasn't dead anyway when the ship warped away, to Alora.
They found him in one of those boxes.
With the snowflake on.
Yep.
One of those. Yeah.
One of those. Hemmer's probably in the next one over.
Yeah. So they return this, genius special child to Alora, and she says, Pike, thank you for getting him back. You can join us for the ceremony. You'll be the first outsider to do so.
Yes. She needs him to be there. She needs...
Does she?
She does. Because she likes Pike. She wants Pike to be there. She knows that if Pike is going to move here, which she wants him to do, he's going to have to get down. He needs to get with the program, and in order for the best way, the only way she could have got him to do it is to kind of drop him in the deep end. So we need him to come to the ceremony. We need to show him that go whole hog, show him what's going on. It's not the kind of thing that you can drip feed someone. You need to say, this is the deal. Yeah. If you want to live here, you're gonna have to get behind this. So I do think she needs him to be there, because she is, like I say, she's being sincere. She thinks that she thinks that what she's doing is acceptable, and she wants to share it with Chris.
Yeah. Okay. So we see this kid's ascension ceremony. He's led through the unrailed grass floating above lava city.
Time to ascend.
Yeah.
No greater sacrifice than the gift of self.
Yeah. But we go into a old, weird mechanical chamber, or it doesn't look like the outside. It looks otherworldly.
Yeah.
And we pull out the last dead kid from the machine.
Yeah, it's fucking hardcore, man.
Yeah.
Fuck. It's like one of those
who looks mummified.
Yeah, man, he looked like a mummy, or like one of those fucking he looked like the kid looked like that Buddhist monk. The Buddhist monk that has been in meditation for 300 years. That is like that the Chinese government still classes as technically being alive.
Yeah.
And it's just like this he's just this preserved monk meditating. He died meditating. And so he still is meditating.
Yeah, to this day.
Maybe.
No toilet breaks.
Nope. No, man, not when you're in meditation. You just resorb all of your fluids. Yeah, man, it's again, part of me was like, oh, is there gonna be a fucking squid monster or Cthulhu? But no. Yeah. Fucking hooked him up, and it's pretty fucking brutal. Fucking brutal. I mean, not bloody or anything, but the kid, the kid gives of himself willingly. You know, he's kind of, you see him
Yeah.
kind of like go, look at the fucking crispy girl that they gurney out to him, and he says, "Oh my God," which kind of made me go, all right. Just
What
because, like,
Pike does.
well, no, the kid does.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Kind of anachronistic, kind of like when Han Solo says, "I'll see you in hell." It's like,
Yeah.
oh. He says, "Oh my God," but then afterwards he's like, "Whew, that was gross." Anyway,
Yeah. It's like the Borg assimilation. You know, the new style of it from Picard or whatever, with all little tracks going into his mind to fuck him up.
yeah, and like, you know, Pike is, you know, basically like he's fighting to get to the kid. He's like basically crawling, and he's basically just like watches this kid
Yeah.
fucking like just walk into a volcano. And like,
There's some terrible fight choreography on his headbutt. He headbutts a guard, and it like doesn't even make a thud. It's like, and both of them just back away from each other. It's just not good.
All of those guards looked about 20, and like they all, like the male guards looked like they had frames like me. I'm like, those guys don't look intimidating at all. They look about they're about as intimidating as Ed Sheeran fucking spar boxing in the fucking Shape of You video.
Yeah. And it isn't even one of these superior guards who, you know, the only good guard we've seen that isn't immediately took out was the one Pike tackled, the bad guy. The bad guy.
Yeah, he took it. Yeah, because he got at least one kill. He killed his mate.
Yeah. It isn't even any of the guards that stop Pike, it's Allura, you know, just knocks him down and knocks him out. But when he wakes up, the ascension ceremony's done. The kid's hooked up and can't be unhooked up without killing him anyway. And we go into the moral, you know,
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, he gets knocked out, and like he
But he gets up again.
He watches this shit. He gets knocked down, but he gets up again. He watches this shit goes down. He gets knocked out. He wakes up in this fucking room, and she's giving it like, you know, this. We don't know why it works like this. This is how the founders of our civilization did it. So we just go with it.
And she'd previously studied to try and work out. So what she was doing when Pike saved her was trying to find an alternative source other than hooking a kid up to, you know, making their society run. But couldn't work it out, so she's, you know, I'll stay by it then.
I think that was the one time. That was that one time. The one time they did that. Well, we did try once to think of another way, and well, you were there.
Yeah. I tried. I'm not going to try forever, you know. I've done my thing.
Did you try, like, moving? Did you try moving like those other guys?
Yeah.
Did you try maybe leaving, going elsewhere where you don't
Because
have to
you're above
sacrifice
a lava
yourself?
planet anyway. How fun can this be?
Yeah.
Grass can grow on the normal ground. You don't need to fly grass around. But they do she does we're not so different, you and I. Or our civilizations aren't too different, yours and mine. Yours is built on the suffering of children. You know, we don't hide it away. We have one child suffer.
We don't look
away.
Like, because the Federation is a post-scarcity society, right? Or it's presented as such. And obviously, like La'an was kidnapped by some lizard men. Children suffered then, but that wasn't in the Federation. Like, obviously, like, children must have, like, I mean, children suffer now. So, like, children obviously had to suffer in order to get to the Federation. But the Federation is post-scarcity. So there are no children suffering now, like, from the perspective of Chris Pike. But he does he doesn't respond to that. Because I guess he can't say no children suffer, because that would be making a claim.
But I don't think no children suffer in the Federation, because when you're a colony ship, it's like trying to settle, other than displacing the Native Americans, like we talked about, last week or whatever it
Yeah.
was. You're settling a frontier. So if you're on a mining colony, you don't live nice. It's not post scarcity because mud is dropping off women to you or whatever.
Yeah.
You're still roughing it, but that's your choice to rough it. You could live on Earth and live very happily. So if you've got a kid on a mining planet, then yeah, you're gonna have a tough time. If you've got a kid on Earth, your quid's in, no scarcity, happy life. But I don't think Alora can say, "Oh no, you hide your suffering children away." No, it's kind of like
I don't think we do, actually.
No.
I don't think we do. Like the hypocrisy. That's what
Yeah.
I should get. That's what I should get a little bell for. The
Yeah.
hypocrisy. Ring the hypocrisy bell. Ridiculous.
So this is where I understand it kind of links as TOS does with the War Machine from you've made war too easy or whatever episode.
Yeah.
It's not Operation Annihilate, but it's something like that. But at least that, and in Stargate it had a purpose. So it was, we've made war clean, we're not destroying our buildings, or we're using this to teach a new generation. This is just like, no, we do it because it's easier this way. We're kind of like in a pattern.
Yeah, because like it's easier to maintain status quo than it is to make change.
Yeah.
And that's what I think the big metaphor for this episode is. I've seen a lot of critiques of this episode of people saying like, yeah, it's a really good concept, but when this concept has been done before, it's had a deeper meaning. And I'm like, how are you not reading the deeper meaning that this is quite clearly critiquing the United States' obsession with fucking fundamentalism and maintaining status quo in the face of like the fact of purely fucking incorrigible fucking behavior.
Yeah.
And
But
then
I think
remember,
that
they're too close to it. They're too close to it. They don't see it because they're in it. If they're over here, they can turn around and look at it.
But I think Learning Curve, the Stargate one, does that as well, where it is, although there is the point where these kids, it's not just, because we don't know why it works, but it works. There's the point behind it of going, well, this is why we do it as a society. We could change and do stuff differently, but it's just easier. And we're stuck in that rut of, why would we change? It's easier to kill these kids and, kill hundreds of kids because it makes us smarter and better and our society better. Whereas this, it's just like, it works.
Well,
Don't knock it until you've tried it.
Well, see, this is the thing. At time of recording, there has recently been a, trigger warning, another mass shooting at a school in America, in Texas. And every time this happens, the debate comes out. For us in the UK, it's fairly cut and dry. America needs to sort out the fucking gun law situation. But in America, and for us on the internet, engaging in debate on the subject, like, you do see a lot of rhetoric that revolves around, like, these are kind of the sacrifices that need to be made in order to live in a free society. Freedom, flag, guns, America.
Rock, flag and eagle.
Yeah, man. Rock and roll, beers and tits. Like, oh man, it's sad that child had to die. But it's a small price to pay for being able to buy all the fucking guns you want.
Yeah.
Like, it's I think that this episode illustrated that metaphor quite well. And I think it's an important message to make. A lot of the takeaways that I've seen of this episode have been like, it's kind of like, well, from my side of the fence, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Like, oh, if you're, are you really? Is your society so fucking idyllic? It's kind of that like each to their own thing.
Yeah.
But this is how I feel, and I think this is the message that the episode is putting forward, and it certainly seems to be how Chris Pike feels. Where, yeah, sure, each to their own, up until a point.
Yeah.
But after that point, you have to be able to turn around and say no, like what you are doing is fucked up and wrong and actively harmful. Like, you need to make a change. Well, you just don't get it. These are my freedoms. This is just what we have to do to live in a Freedom Palace. No, you could move.
Yeah.
You could stop selling guns to teenagers with mental health issues. You could fucking change. You could get rid of whatever constitution your country is built on, and this.
Yeah.
The whole thing of like this is how our society is. This is how our founding fathers wrote the Constitution. We have the right to bear arms. We need to sacrifice this child.
Yeah.
Like the analogy to America and the fucking gun situation is just so fucking glaring and spot on. The fact that like not that many people in America that I've seen have picked up on it is very, very fucking telling.
But it ends with her saying, or that ends with her saying, the Federation don't have jurisdiction here, so you can leave. And Pike just leaves. And
he gets
Pike's
his computer
different to
out and
Kirk.
he just goes, number one, now. But like, he just woke up and then immediately, like, he went down, he got knocked out, he was out for however many hours, and he woke up and just went, now. Presumably, number one's up on the bridge, just like, now.
Yeah.
I don't know, beam him up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do something. She just tell her.
Yeah. But
now, number one. What?
When I think back of like the other episodes that are somewhat similar to this, Kirk certainly doesn't, just let shit go. Kirk would have ran into that ultimate machine thingy and just shot it and been like, oh, tough shit, you have to, live with your consequences now. You need to go back to society.
I guess we're all falling into the lava together.
Yeah.
Now, number one.
Yeah. So, I could have done with a bit of that rather than Pike being like, oh, no, okay, I will look regretfully at this planet as I leave, and I don't have my chance to live happily with your advanced medicine, and I'll have to regretfully leave as you keep killing kids.
Yeah, because I'm not going to be a party to this fucking nonsense. But like that, I mean, we get it in Enterprise with the Cogenitor episode.
Yeah.
Which, I don't necessarily agree. Like, I'm torn. Like, there's a lot of criticisms about that episode and the fact that, like, Archer chews out Trip because, this girl killed herself trying to escape. And a lot of the criticisms are like, well, I mean, you should have been helping her try to escape. But at the same time, like, there is a line. There's a line that, the captain can't cross,
Yeah.
And
other captains do,
I can
including
that.
Archer.
Other captains do, including Archer, including presumably Pike at some point.
Yeah.
But like he didn't. He didn't get to the kid in time. The kid got hooked up to the machine.
But there are other kids to save.
There are other kids to save.
Maybe not as personable, not as good an actor as this kid, but there are other kids to save.
No, I mean, she did say that like when the next kid takes over, they will work to they will work for her. Saying presumably it goes boy girl boy girl boy girl.
Yeah.
Maybe they could get the girl from Obi-Wan Kenobi. She's very charming, delightful young lady.
Yeah.
She'd be great to hook up into the machine.
To sap her life force.
Yeah, if that's what they're going for. They're like, we get them really smart, we get them really cool.
Yeah, I could have done with at least, if you're not going to try and fix the situation, Pike having a log that says, I've marked this planet as, persona non grata for
unfit for the Federation.
Yeah. But we do get, as well as, Pike staring off, regretfully that kids died and he's not going to survive, and he's had to leave this as it is. The dad comes to Mbenga and says, I was actually trying to save my kid because I don't agree with this. I'm going off to Prospect 7, the colony planet, to live, happily ever after without my dead kid. Here's some of the notes of the technology that was in my kid to cure him. Maybe it'll work on your kid. So Kia might be out of that hellscape of a transporter buffer at some point.
Let's
because
hope
of
so.
that dad. Yeah.
I
will keep my fingers crossed for her, because I do believe it is a horrible life to live.
Yes, sounds like a fucking total hell.
Mm.
Yeah, that ending where he's just like, he's got a drink, looking out the window. Like, what are you even pondering in that moment? Are you thinking?
Yeah.
Are you thinking? Are you being tempted? Are you thinking, or are you just like having a stiff drink after a really fucking rough day?
Yeah. Watching kids die is something no one should have to do. Hello again, real world, 21st century. But overall, you were keen on the episode then?
Yeah, totally. Like, I mean, yeah, I like a good statement. A lot of good metaphors in this episode. There's the bit where she's like, maybe in time you will come to see things from my point of view.
Yeah.
And I thought that would have been a really great moment for Pike to just turn around and say, well, maybe you can go fuck yourself. And that would have been a good, maybe you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
That would have been a good use of, the F word in this season. Because obviously Star Trek gets one F word a season now. And it made me think, which member of the TNG cast do you reckon is going to get to say the F word? I reckon it's going to be Data.
But is Data going to be back, or is it going to be...
Data's going to be back!
Yeah, I hope he's back, but it could be a different Soong. It could be, for all we know, if it's not the one that was in Picard Season 1, it could be a new Soong.
Soong.
New Soong.
Bah.
We're 6 through then. How would you rank it out of the 6?
And then this
6 lifters were
really
suffering.
long title.
Yeah.
It's not that long a title. I made a list, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, just because I've said it's a long title, right? I made a list. So, 6 words in this title. Lifters where suffering cannot reach. There are many, 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 many Star Trek episodes with 6-word titles.
Mm.
There's like 20. I've got a list.
I'm trying to think back of the Discovery one that is like...
I've got it written
15
here.
words long. Have you?
I've got it written here. There's 2 very long ones. One. So for Discovery, there's an 8 and a 9.
Is it something where the butcher's knife kills the fox or something like that?
So 7. So lifters where suffering cannot reach. 6 letters. There's loads of episodes with 6 letters. Where no man has gone before. What a little girl's made of. Blah 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 blah. Loads of them. So the episodes that have more words than this
Mm.
7 words. TOS, the city on the edge of forever.
Okay, yeah.
And then both coming in at 8 words, we have Discovery, magic to make the sanest man go mad.
Yeah.
And we have
Titles so long to make me go mad.
And then we've got Star Trek Deep Space Nine, looking for Parmac in all the wrong places.
Okay.
Then at 9 words, we have Discovery again. The butcher's knife cares not for the lamb's cry.
That's the one.
And then we have TOS episode, For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky. 11 words.
Too
11.
Long. Maybe a bit too long. Yeah.
11. It could have a comma.
Yeah.
An Oxford comma, but which I don't necessarily agree with, but
No Oxford comma there. Oxford comma's in a list of two, more than 2 things.
I thought the Oxford comma was when you use a comma before an and.
Yeah, but you don't use an Oxford comma. Grammar corner. You don't use an Oxford comma if it's only 2 things.
We're English.
So,
this is
yeah.
fine.
Yeah. If you're saying red and blue, you don't put a comma between the red and the and. But if it's red, white, and blue, then you put a comma in before the and. So it's of lists of 3 or more.
So it's not appropriate to use to break up a sentence.
It is, but the sentence would have to be the world is hollow and it is white and a man has touched the sky. The world is hollow, comma, and it is white, comma, and I have touched the sky. That would be a yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Grammar corner. Doo-doo-doo.
You're welcome.
Yes. We like to inform, if not about Star Trek, then about,
Oh, did we just do a bit of edutainment?
Yeah. We'll teach you pulleys next week.
Yeah. No, one sec. Let me just... Right, so... I'll do it in front of me. Right, so first up, Strange New World, still my favourite episode.
Okay.
Close second was last week, I believe. So I'll just put really long one. Spock and Mock, close second. And then we go Children of the Comet.
I think you're missing one.
Ghosts of Olivia. No, I'm doing them in the order. Of like so this episode goes. I preferred this to Children of the Comet, Ghosts of Illyria, and Memento Mori. Yeah. So this is my third favorite of this series.
Okay. The order I prefer them is Memento Mori, Strange New Worlds, Children of the Comet, Ghosts of Illyria, Spock and Muck, and Lifters Were Suffering, blah, 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 blah.
Wow, we have different tastes.
We have different tastes.
We do have different tastes.
We're different people.
We are. And each to their own, but you're wrong.
I mean, I'm surprised Memento Mori is so far down your list. You had it below Ghosts of Illyria, didn't you?
I still thoroughly enjoyed it. But... Wait, so Memento Mori. Which one was Memento Mori again?
The Gorn.
The Gorn! Oh, no, combat. Yeah, I definitely preferred that to Ghosts of Illyria, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Children of the Comet, yeah.
There we go. That's why I was saying, I think you missed one when you were doing them in order.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Sense. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, it's still, I preferred this episode to Memento Mori. Okay. But I enjoyed... Strange New Worlds and Spock and Mock a lot more.
That's all good.
Probably just by virtue of like the deeper meaning of those episodes. Well, I mean, Strange New Worlds was just such a great out of the gate episode. How can you not love it?
Yeah.
Spock and Mock was just a lot of fun, but Lifters Where Suffering Cannot Reach it gave me feels.
Really.
Yeah.
To each their own. To each their own.
So what makes you put this so far down on your list?
I think Spock Amok's probably higher because to me it has a better through line of the ABC story format, but all of those stories are about walking in someone else's shoes. I Ghost of Valyria. Maybe Ghost of Valyria needs to go below Spock Amok, because it's. I think it's a good pastiche of the naked now, the naked then, and trying to change yourself to fit in ultimately can lead to your destruction. I like the throughput of that. Children of the Comet, I think it does what the end of last season of Discovery did, but other than the view of the aliens, I think it does better. So that communication piece, I really like that. Strange New Worlds, as you said, can't really ask for a better season launcher. And Memento Mori, because I love submarine combat. I'm unabashedly in love with a bit of Hunt for Red October and stuff like that. So yeah, so maybe Children of or Spock Amok needs to go above Ghost of Valyria, but it's around the same list.
I think Children of the Comet, like a lot of the criticisms I had about like Children of the Comet were like they aren't, they're not making enough of a statement about dogma.
Yeah.
But I think that those statements were made quite well in this episode. There's another reading I took from it is, onto the subject of the theistic debate. There is the idea of, when you die, if you're a bad person, you go to hell. If you're a good person, you go to heaven. I find it difficult to believe that good people can enjoy heaven knowing that others are suffering for eternity in hell.
Yeah.
And like another criticism that I have, like, well, not a criticism so much, but like a sticking point really, which is, even if I as an atheist were proved wrong and there is a God and there is a heaven and there is a hell, it doesn't necessarily mean I would automatically start worshipping that God, because I still am morally against the idea of a heaven existing while there are people suffering in hell for choices that they did not make.
And on the inverse, there's people who only pretend to be Christian or whatever religion because they want to get into heaven.
Yeah. If the only reason you're a good person is to get into heaven, then you're not a good person.
Yeah.
If the only reason that your society is so idyllic is because it exists off the back of children taking it in turns to live a life of abject suffering, then maybe your society isn't that fucking idyllic.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll also say I wish we got a bit more of the colonists in this.
I wish we'd have got more of the breakaway society.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't hear enough about them, and I think that was kind of that was intentional. Like, we're not hearing their side. We're not, and because we don't hear their side.
Yeah. It would have had to be late in the episode hearing from them, but I thought it would have been nice.
Yeah, if we'd have heard more from them at the start,
would have ruined the obvious twist.
It would have ruined the obvious twist, and maybe that society would be slowly falling into the lava right now.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't even know. Yeah. They don't even know if that's.
Maybe.
They don't even know. Yeah, the a society that enjoys gross freedom and then when confronted with the reality of their situation, they say, well, these are the sacrifices that we have to make to live in a free society. They say we choose to not look away, but you're also choosing to not make a change.
Mm.
You know, and that is very much the maintaining of status quo that we see in America right now.
Mm. Or Allura at least has given up on making a change. She in her younger years, 10 years ago, was trying to make a change, and now she's like, nah, this is how we have to do it now.
Yeah, fuck that. Like,
yeah,
and like you do see that in America again, and here, in fact, all over here, fucking, you know, like anti-establishment anarchist types as they grow older become like shockingly right-wing and fascistic. Fucking like the amount of fucking total hippie types that I used to fucking be in cuddle puddles with on mushrooms in the woods and shit are now like full-on QAnoners.
Yeah.
Like it, you know, when I was younger, yeah, I try, you know, I was rebellious, but when you get older, you just when you get older, you just become more conservative.
So they say.
Is it though?
Yeah. Anyway.
What about you? Any other sort of deeper readings from the episode or anything? Any?
Not on this one. Not on this one.
No.
I tried to look up for us next week and watch the trailer, but Paramount, in their infinite wisdom, have decided that our current geography can't watch that trailer. It is behind.
I've watched it.
You know, even when it is uploaded.
I've seen it, and
have you?
It doesn't say outright, but it does give a bit of a clue as to what might be happening next week, and I really hope that we do get what I think it is. Because
I know what race is in next week.
Is it? Because in the clip we see like a net in space.
Yes.
Ching 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 ching. Where have we seen that before? It's like a web, a Tholian's web, maybe.
Dun dun dun.
Fucking Tholians, crystal spiders.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Which will be good considering we've only had, I think it's only 2 episodes with them in total.
We've only like one was like made of like cellophane, and one was like really shit CGI. So hopefully, this next week it will be somewhere between the two.
Yeah.
Or not between the two, better than that, because like
better than cellophane and shit CGI.
I mean, I don't know how they could do that. But yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So looking forward to then.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. Don't cut this out, but it was Mike's birthday yesterday.
Oh no.
Or the day before. It's just been Mike's birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hence the slightly later record on this. Trying to fit round everything and the different background for me today, of course. But thank you very much.
He's back up in the grim north.
I am, and I'm going.
Take a big deep breath. Get that country air in you, lad.
Yeah, I'm in God's country at the moment. Going grey by the day, so soon enough I will have Pike's hairstyle.
Yeah, man.
Grey as it can be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's another episode. Oh, that's another thing that this episode did. Logan's Run. That's another one. Ideal Society. But lift the veil.
Yeah, Logan's Runs kill the old people though, not the young people.
No, it's Logan's Runs kill people after 30. I'm not old. Fuck you.
Now, I watched Logan's Run back to back a couple of years ago, just to beat into myself that now I'm too old for an ideal society.
Yes.
Hmm.
But maybe you could be like the old guy in the Supreme Court.
I'm just looking for what's her name in Logan's Run, looking for her to run away with. Um, yeah,
Basil.
I yeah I'm
Basil
not looking for
Exposition.
I'm not looking for Basil Exposition to look away to run away with. I'm planning on being Basil Exposition.
But what does it all mean, Austin?
Yeah, yeah. That's gonna be me. That's gonna be me. Who must have been over 30 recording that? Who
Yeah.
must have been?
Yeah, playing an 18-year-old.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's all I've got for this week. Unless you've got anything else.
Um. Nope.
Nope. Well, then it
Um,
might be time for us to sign off.
Yeah. Like the moral of the episode is, um, each to their own. But Mike, you
But no
are.
killing kids.
But no. But Mike, you are in the wrong.
Well, true. I often am. I often am.
Regarding the order of this episode in your rankings, and regarding I don't know, most of your opinions, most of your horrible, hateful opinions.
Yep. That's me. That's me.
That's it. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to say. The real reason why this fucking society can't think of another fucking way to power their fucking houses without killing kids is because they want to. They want to kill the kids. That's it. It's gotta be. Like, I'm sorry, but this beautiful fucking floating city, and you need to kill a child? No, you want to kill a child. Mike.
That is me. That is me. I've forgotten the why I set up this child killing machine behind me. But I will keep feeding it with children.
Oh, no, and that's why you've gone back to your family. Oh,
Yeah.
so sad.
Every year I have to feed it
So
with a child.
sad. So sad.
Yeah. You got to do what you got to do, man.
I've noticed that, like, when I sign off with "Live long and prosper, motherfuckers," it's a bit aggressive, but I think that can be leveled out if I say it and then you say something back. So like,
Fuck you.
yeah, but like peace and long life.
Yeah, I was only
Yeah,
thinking peace and long life.
Peace and long life, and then like something sweary on the end.
Okay.
So I'll
the one swear word I
don't
want
cut
to
any of
say
this out.
won't work for Americans though.
Right. Live long and prosper, motherfuckers.
Peace and long life, shithead. That is better than the one I was gonna say. That is better than the one I was gonna say, by a long way.
Bye, folks.
See ya.